Hello, friends, subscribers, other viewers, or just people who want to watch this video. Because I have the feeling this video could help a lot of people. For today I am reviewing the book, The Scarlet Letter. This will be my first of any book reviews. Before I get into the review, just an important note that I did not cover elsewhere. If you want me to ever review a book on this YouTube channel, and I agree to do the review, because I'm not going to agree to do every review. I might have had to have already read the book, of course, or otherwise have interest in reading it, otherwise I'm going to decline and probably not read it. But the point is, if I agree to do a review, the soonest, absolute soonest you will see said review is 6 months after the most recent request for me to do a review on that book. So that means if 5 months pass and then someone else recommends I review the same book, the clock resets and you're gonna have to wait even longer. Yeah. This is basically so I do not do your homework for you by reviewing certain books you're just wanting to get out of reading for school like you're supposed to read. But obviously I'm doing this review first because if there's any book you should get out of reading in school, it's The Scarlet Letter. And it should be a good book about the double standard and horrible pressures that exist even in Puritarian societies that some question the accuracy of, that maybe they weren't as rigid as they think they were. But it should be a wonderful story about how women were and still are treated differently than men, where a woman would be judged by being branded with a scarlet letter for having an affair through which she had a child, and a man would not be surged as much, even though he knew it and was complicit and stuff. Anyways, that's what the book should be. Instead, the book is very long, very rambling, very unfocused, and if you put the important plot elements together, the book would be way shorter and much better. But probably not even a novel, it would be more like a short story. Because the paragraphs can go on like a page length, and the sentences are like a paragraph's length, and you sort of lose yourself in there wondering, what is this even about? And that's pretty much every line. It's so annoying to have to read this. It's like, this is so horrible. It's not even the worst book I read. The other one, incidentally, also for a different class I took, this one in college. I'll have to get into in another review if I ever do it. But the other one wasn't as terribly written, despite somehow being a worse story overall and worse book, and wasn't as difficult to read. But it's like, come on, why is this here? It's like, Nathaniel Hawthorne, we don't like you. American literature is supposed to be the one time we don't have to put up with the overrated Shakespeare, and instead we get this monstrosity. Honestly, it makes you appreciate some of Shakespeare's plays that aren't as bad, which are comedies that aren't remotely close to being funny, but at least something you might actually tolerate. But yeah, Nathaniel Hawthorne sucks. They even reference this in a Family Guy episode. What are you doing? Just ruining 9th grade for everyone. Come on, high school sucks, being a teenager sucks, and to require students to read such overrated stuff like this makes it suck even more. Of course, you're gonna want to wonder, what's the plot? Can you spoil it for me? Well, honestly, if you do read the book for yourself, whether you have to or otherwise want to, you'll be able to guess the major spoiler. The minister did it. There's the spoiler. You can obviously guess that reading into the book. Yes. So the book is about, I want to say Hester, but I don't think that's right, but maybe it is. I can't even remember the names. I'm not even bothering to look it up. I'm just doing this review to benefit all the people who don't want to read the book, which is why this will be the first of any book reviews. The point is, a woman in Puritan society, she had an affair. She's branded with a scarlet letter A. She has to read for the rest of, or has to wear for the rest of her life. She has a child, sometimes referred to as love child, which I guess is better term than bastard, but still not sure if it's a good term, but of course I don't think there's any way to bring it up without actually any better terms, unless you don't reference this at all, which might be better. It's like, what's a better term for baby mama or baby daddy? There should be one, but there probably isn't. There's another one that I won't get into because it's political and not worth addressing here. Of course, there are some, not so much political standpoints, but societal ones. She's being judged for this affair. She has the baby. Her husband comes back because she was, like, gone away. She went to America first, and then her husband came later and found out about this affair, and she has the Scarlet A on her chest. Speaking of which, the plot, or the premise of Scarlet Letter helped inspire the movie Easy A, which is a really good movie worth watching, because I had initial reservations of it at first, and it might be worth reviewing in a different video. But the point is, that movie gets the idea right of the whole double standard and societal expectations, even though the plot varies widely differently, of course. But if you want to see a good movie on double standards, watch Easy A. Do not watch Scarlet Letter. Although I haven't seen the Demi Moore version, I've seen sort of the original one, which is somehow ridiculously long and probably ridiculously boring from what I've seen of it, which isn't all, which is good. And hey, it's just like the book anyways, because it keeps droning on excessively, has a bunch of filler and not as much plot as you would like. But yeah, so the important parts is she has the affair, and it was the minister who did it, and he's an important character, and he's revealed underneath it to have the Scarlet A and of his own. And she tries to get rid of it, but the child freaks out because of it. And what else even is in the plot? I mean, that pretty much is the plot. Because, yeah, like I said, not much happens despite the book being long. It should be a good story, but fails miserably on various counts. Although I'm sure there are some people who like it, but I mean, it's supposed to be it. I mean, even the term Scarlet Letter is a good one, and it is appropriate in even today's culture, because the Christian group Casting Crowns, they released a song, "You Can't See Past Her Scarlet Letter," and they never even met her. Because it is true that tons of people, even Christians, just seem to throw out with, what's the right way of phrasing this? They seem to have accepted the sexual norms of today without realizing that it's sinful, or without caring that it's sinful, or perhaps thinking it's okay to live in sin, which I guess probably everyone has some degree of that problem, unless they don't, but everyone sins, not everyone should sin. You shouldn't if you can avoid it, but it's impossible not to in some cases. Okay, that's probably worth covering in a different video, and I'm not a theologian. I mean, I did want to be a pastor at one point, but I don't know if that'll happen, or maybe it has by the time you watch this. I wouldn't think so, though, because I don't think I could learn the foreign languages needed to interpret the Bible. And of course, the whole corrupt church is sort of a message in there, because like I said, the minister is the father of the main character's baby. I'm pretty sure her name is Hester. Man, I should have looked up the plot of this quickly. But yeah, you can tell, like with bad movies, or pretty much anything bad, if you can read a synopsis on Wikipedia and get a better understanding out of it than what you just read or watched, then you can tell you've done something wrong. Like, I've done that with some movies. It's like, what was that? And then after reading it, it's like, okay. And the synopsis on Wikipedia, or any synopsis on any site or wherever, that should not be better than the movie or book or whatever. And if it is, you done messed up the movie, book, or whatever. Yeah. But yeah, the corrupt church and sexual sins or whatever, and people ignoring it, they're admitting it was a problem even then, despite the supposed Puritan cultures, which may or may not have existed in some ways, and actually did brand people with Scarlet A's or whatever for whatever sins they did. But the point is, there's forgiveness, which is to forgive people and not make them wear it the rest of their lives. And of course, we do know that there's sexual abuse in the Catholic Church. I don't know how many sexual problems exist in other churches, be it real or supposed. But there can be issues, and I think... No, I won't mention that. Yeah. Whether or not you can agree with stuff, I mean, one should always disagree with it. And adultery doesn't just mean you're cheating on some relationship. It means any sexual relation outside of marriage. Yeah. Or just lust in general is adultery. Yeah, I wonder how that conversation would go. Hey, I once had adultery with you. Really? I've never met you. Oh, no, I just thought it in my mind. Really? Yeah, so I committed adultery with that woman, although not physically, just mentally. You wouldn't hear many people actually phrase it like that, or say it, or admit to it. I'm not even sure if I did that. I mean, does it even count if she's not even real in the first place? And that's if I'm even thinking that at all. I think I've lost focus on this review, but the point is, Scarlet Letter, adultery bad, double standards bad, church may be bad, but only if they get it wrong. Minister did it, and don't lust, because that's bad. And I hope you understood this video, and that is all. Bye.